In this episode of KIDZ Podcast, I am honored to share wisdom with you about leading kids in your church and in your home. Dealing with kids is hard work, and I'm praying that we add some tools to your tool belt today. So let's dive into today's topic. How do we prioritize growth in our kids ministry? On this episode of KIDZ Podcast, we talk about the next steps on what to do when you have numbers but not enough of something else. So this topic came up in a discussion forum. The question was, does anyone have tips for a big age gap in kids church? Our kids church has this many kids with this many ages and all together in a space of this size and this time frame and so forth. My response was very, very simple. If you have a bunch of kids, divide your group into an age-appropriate size with designated leaders. And I typically answer all of these with very, very little because I don't expect people online and in forums to read every detail and to accept it. For those that care enough, I believe that they will respond or they will ask for more or they will probe. So I leave a very, very simple answer to almost everything I say on a social media forum. Now, the follow-up response came this way. That assumes that you have enough volunteers to split the group up. It might also be able to be read like, well, that assumes that you have enough volunteers to split the group. There's no emoji there, so I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and say that, hey, I don't have the volunteers. Or what if we don't have the volunteers? What if we have more kids than there are leaders? That's a very, very good point. So then I go on to say, this is the pattern that I work with when things are growing. When you have more clients, more students, more kids than you do leaders that lead them. The pattern is this: get numbers first. If you are the kids leader, the youth pastor, the coach, whatever, your first priority is to get as many kids involved as possible, signed up, registered, etc. Then you go on to get leaders to properly staff those kids. After that, step 3 is to get more numbers. That's right, more numbers, because you don't want to be stale and stagnant and okay with the status quo. This is how you become a church of 100 for the next 10 years, because you choose not to grow. You choose not to find benchmarks. You choose not to do the next thing. So once you grow, you get leaders. Once that's provided, you grow some more. And guess what step 4 is? You find more leaders. That's the pattern. That's the pattern that I work with. Now, you might approach this and you're listening, you're like saying, whoa, wait. Don't you want leaders first before you start growing the numbers of kids? And that is a very good question. Now, here's my rebuttal to that. As I learned while working as a full-time athletic director for a company called Soccer Shots. I was the athletic director for the city program in Pittsburgh for a year and with a special training and everything. It is a multi-million-dollar organization that focuses on character and confidence for children. And in their training process, their goal is not to get a bunch of coaches and then get a bunch of athletes. No, they say approach it a different way. Approach it in getting a bunch of young athletes that then need leaders or then need coaches. So I've used this principle as a leader in kids ministry ever since. I look to provide, and I'm assuming this is all defaulted, looking to provide an excellent program. So now my clientele is moms and dads and kids. I want to invite them to my big kids event. I want to invite them to the holiday event. I want to invite them to this cool thing that's happening. I want the numbers. But I don't want too many leaders and adults because that doesn't help at all. I want to provide the right amount of leaders for the right ratio of kids. You're following? Too many leaders I mean, that's not a huge problem, especially if they're volunteers. In the sales world, if you have too many coaches, you got to pay them but not have the income to pay them. And it becomes this whole weird matrix. So bottom line is, when it comes to this process of growth and prioritizing growth, I've learned that the pros do it this way. They grow their clients first, and then they provide instructions and leaders and whatnot to deal with those numbers. And I found that worked in kids ministry. And here's how this works for our ministry. When we had 30 kids, we began to break them down into age brackets. And we're doing this just with, let's say, elementary. We have kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade. And we did that entire age bracket for years. Years. And we'd have 2 or 3 leaders in that class on a rotation. And their numbers averaged around 30. But within the last year and a half, 2 years, that number started to squeak, 38, 39, 45. And we're like, whoa. Because for me, 40 is a big number for that space. And I began to think through, do I want this size group in this room? And is it the most effective, efficient, consistent, and even the best for them to receive the gospel? So as a leader, I've got to think through. Now I've got numbers for kids. Do I have numbers for leaders? I can't just split them and throw them in a room and not have a leader. I have the numbers. Now I need more leaders. So for my 30 to 40 to 45, 50 kids on a special service, instead of scheduling 2 or 3 adults, I'm scheduling 4, 5, 6 adults for those 40 kids in one room. Okay, now we're ready. Now we're consistent. It's been 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is my key number. I'm looking for 7 consecutive days where we're having high numbers. So what we did was kindergarten, first, second, and third grade is now its own elementary age group with its own 2 to 3 leaders. And then fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade, now it is a second group. What was once one group is now 2 groups with their own leaders and their own space. So you're following. We grew the kids first, the number of kids first, and then we grew what we needed to effectively, efficiently, and consistently take care of those kids. And now that we have that in place, we will continue to grow. Now let's say 456 is what we call the program, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Right now, there are about 10 to 15 kids. Great. We love it. If they grow to 30, great. We love it. We can handle them. We have 1, 2, 3 leaders that are on a rotation just to take care of those 10, 15 kids. If they get to 30, we can still handle it because we've been doing that for years. But man, if they grow to 40 to 50 kids, guess what we're going to do? We're going to break it up again. We're either going to do group A, group B, or we're going to do 4s and 5s, and then 5s and 6, you name it, whatever. The ideas are endless, but the bottom line to how do I prioritize growth is this. I grow the kids' numbers first. When it's consistent, then I grow my leaders next. When that's consistent, I do it again. And there you have it. A very simple podcast on kids leadership, those leading kids in the church and in the world, leading them into an overflowing life with Jesus. If you got questions about this, you know where to find me. Until next time, everybody say, bye, Pastor Juan. Thank you for letting us speak into your life. At the end of the day, our goal is simple. We just want to raise these little people to one day become big people. Be sure to check out our website at rongaleministries.com to show your support. Thank you for listening, and be sure to smash that like button and turn that button blue or whatever else the kids are doing these days. Until next time, everybody say, bye, Pastor Juan.